Rob Zombie. How the fuck can you not have your most famous character, Captain Spaulding, in a movie about psychotic clowns? How is that possible? This guy right here, that's what I'm talking about. Why was he not in this film? What the fuck is wrong with you? I feel like there should be a Patrick Stewart meme right about now. What's going on, friends? It's been a minute, but Logan Myers is here, back from Cinefellas.com to review the new Rob Zombie concoction horror film, 31. This film has been, highly anticipated for some time. It was his Kickstarter crowdfunding project that people donated and wanted him to make. So we finally got around to making this film, and we've been waiting for the theatrical release, and it's finally here. And I will say, as many of you know, that I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan. House of a Thousand Corpses came out in 2003. I went to see it in theaters about 4 times. Devil's Rejects, all that good stuff. The first Halloween, second Halloween. Lords of Salem only saw it once in theaters, and probably his worst movie in my opinion. But I'm a huge fan, so I've been really excited about this. Zombie is one of those few directors that doesn't give a fuck about Hollywood or what anybody says. He makes films that he wants to make, and that's why I appreciate his work and what he does in music and film. So with the newest film, 31, we have a group of, I guess they're carnies. They don't really say that in the movie, but you get the feeling they're carnies. They're in this van. They're driving around the U.S. And they come across some psychopaths. And these psychopaths take them into this house of murder, the whatever you want to call it. Kind of looks like Freddy's boiler room. Or something from the set of Saw. And they have 12 hours to survive. They are fighting for their lives. They're taking on these psychotic clowns. They each have their own weapon. They're kind of separated, and it's fight to death. And that's pretty much the premise. They get trapped in this place, and they have to get out alive, or they're going to get massacred by these inbred clown fucking psychopaths. And we know that Rob Zombie likes to regurgitate his actors, and sometimes it's a good or a bad thing. In this film, we have Jeff Daniel Phillips returning. He was in Lords of Salem. Obviously, Zombie's wife, Sherri Zombie. That was probably one of her better roles, I would say, in all of his films. We got a few new faces. We have Lawrence Hilton-Jacobs. He plays a Rastafarian Carney, which his accent was pretty ridiculous and not believable. It was really hard to understand what he was saying, but he was obviously a famous actor in the 70s, and he played Michael Jackson's dad in that movie. So his character was not that good. We have Meg Foster that was also in it from Lords of Salem, and then the other guy was Kevin Jackson. And these are basically the carnies that are brought into this house full of psychopaths and fighting for their lives. The clowns were hit or miss. There's a little person, Hispanic little person. He played this clown that looked like Hitler, and he had these little daggers. He'd run around after the people and speaking Spanish, so it was hard to understand at times. And that was kind of like their first step into this house, is facing off against this little Nazi. And it was underwhelming, I would say. And I don't think it was a really good way to start off a horror film and, introducing these psychopaths. He was pretty underwhelming, and just thought, why can't you just kick this little shit and stomp on him? But whatever. I'll let that one pass. The other clowns are okay. There's 2 clowns, Psycho Head and Schizo Head. They had chainsaws, and they're pretty cool when they came in. There's a lot of grotesque and blood everywhere and guts flying, and their characters were cool, but they had that Otis feel to them. That Bill Moseley would have rocked that character, and the way they talked, it just sounded like Bill Moseley. It sounded like Otis from Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand. And I'm thinking that's probably what Rob was going for, but why didn't he just hire Bill Moseley? I know Moseley's just doing horror conventions. I'm sure he has free time to shoot a 2-month long movie. So that was kind of weird. I thought, what better actor could play this than Bill Moseley, but Lew Temple did a good job. I do like Lew Temple. He's in a few of the other zombie flicks, and he's been in a bunch of TV shows and other movies. And he's a good actor. I liked his character for the most part. He was one of the better clowns that they had in this film. And as the movie progresses, or I should say degresses, it kind of just fell flat in the middle of the movie. This is where Zombie kind of has flaws, I would say. He focuses more on score and the effects and camera work and set design than he does the actual script. Throughout the second half of the movie, these characters, these carnies, are slowly, dying. They're meeting up against these clowns, and they're not surviving. So one by one, they start to get killed off, and it's just like pretty predictable as you could imagine. They're facing off different sorts of characters. There's this huge Russian clown. He was probably like 7 feet tall, and he looked like a character from Hostel, Eli Roth's Hostel. He kind of just came in there, and there's a woman clown, and she was creepy looking. But the really standout performance in this film was by Richard Brake. Richard Brake is a really great actor. I mean, he plays the perfect psychopath just by the way he looks. He just got that sinister smile, much like a Joker or something. There's like big teeth and the way he grins. And the opening sequence of this film is Doomhead or Richard Brake, and just black and white, and just him talking to the camera. And on the other side of the camera is Dan Roebuck. He's playing a preacher and he's about to die. But it's just Richard Brake talking to the screen, and it's just very sinister and creepy looking, and just black and white. And the shadow keeps going in and out, and you only see part of his face, and then a smile, and he's like smoking a cigar. It was a good intro to the film, and I really wish he was more in the movie because he was a standout performance, in my opinion. He was just there in the beginning and at the end, and he was really the one badass clown that really could take out all these people, but they kind of underutilized that and just brought him in at the end when all the other clowns couldn't really do their jobs. And I was saying earlier, these people had 12 hours to get out of there, and obviously we know some characters get out. But do you think the clowns will stop killing after the 12 hours are up? I don't know. Do you think they'll follow the rules? I'll let you think about that one. But, just the overall ending was just like, I was like shaking my head. I'm like, what? Really? This is how it ends? So I was really disappointed by that. Overall, this movie wasn't horrible. It wasn't great at all. It was like right in the middle. It had a lot of flaws in it. It had some decent parts to it as well. There was a lot of gore, and the killing sequences were pretty good. He brings that to his movies. You're making sure that the audience, feels uneasy with these scenes. It's like these backwoods hillbillies and all the sex and like horror porn that goes into it, and the grotesque and brutality of it. Zombie always has great camera work. His set design are always pretty amazing. But this movie just reminded me too much of a lot of other films. So he kind of, didn't really put in 100% in this film. It was a lot like The Running Man from the 80s with Schwarzenegger, with just the horror aspect of it. It was a lot like Hostel. It was a lot like Saw. It was a lot like The Purge. You have 12 hours to kill. It was similar to a lot of films, and I just wish he would have done something more creative, because we've seen clowns how many fucking times, they're always psychotic and weird looking, they're coming after you. I just wish Zombie would have taken a different route in this film. There was a lot of flaws in it, which I wish he would have, overlooked better and made some changes, but this is the R-rated cut, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot more footage in the Blu-ray that comes out with, extended scenes, and maybe this will be a better cut of the movie, when you actually see if there's more scenes and shit he cut out because it's the R rating. And I wish, Zombie would stop doing the shaky camera sequences. I mean, there was like 10 parts of the movie that he uses shaky sequence when, like person's getting stabbed or they're fighting each other, and it's just like this. It just gets really repetitive and boring. And I guess one last thing I didn't like about it was the use of like Polaroids he uses of the characters and it like zooms in and then it transitions into the movie. It's just like he did that a bunch of times in this movie. I'm like, this is unneeded. This feels like it's an indie film. This feels like it's done in college by some college student. You know, I think he's a better filmmaker than this, and I was just pretty much disappointed that the way this all turned out. And maybe it was the script, maybe it was the timing, maybe it was the money, I don't know. But I was really, really looking forward to this film, like many other people, and I didn't feel fulfilled at the end of the movie. I felt like cheated. I felt like I got punched in the nuts. So, Zombie, I think what I'm going to say is you need to try something else for your next film. You need to get out of this pigeonholed horror genre. We know you love it. You think you're good at it, whatever. You have great films. But I think you should try something else. Do something. Do a complete 180. Do a sports film. I don't know. But this is the last straw with me. I want you to try something else. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. But it was a good effort. So I'm going to give 31 2.5 hair pieces out of 5. Whoa, where'd it go? What did you guys think? Did you guys see it? I know there was only select theaters around the U.S. Did you go see it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't seen it, I would say wait till it comes out on Blu-ray. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. This is Logan Myers signing out from Cinefellas. Until next time, cheers!